I'm Melanie. Hey Cebsquad! Alright, so we're back for our second video that should be posted, and this video I'm just going to talk about our family and who we are individually, how Drew and I met, how each one of our family members kind of came, and where we are. Okay, I guess I'll start with myself, which in my last video I forgot to even say my name. Sorry about that. I did ad-lib it in though, as you may have seen. I'm Melanie, I'm the mama, I'm 29 years old. I am originally from San Diego, California, but was raised since I was 5 years old in Southern Oregon, which is where we are right now, even though that's not where Drew and I met and not where our family has been for most of the time. I'll get into that later. I am a stay-at-home mom of 4, soon to be 5. I am a boy mom until March when this little girl joins us. I do photography. I used to work in hospital pharmacy. I decided to be a stay-at-home mom when we bought our house here in Klamath. My husband got his job that he's at now. He makes enough that I was able to stay home, and it was just important for me with the boys with their speech issues and their delays to just be home with them, because I knew that I was going to be the best person to help them through that, which was the best decision I could have ever made. From where we were then and where we are now with Jacob and Braylon is night and day. It is crazy. I love being a stay-at-home mom. We decided to add to our family after I was staying at home too, which was so exciting, and I'm so thankful that we were able to do that. But yeah, I enjoy doing photography. I love my babies. I'm a big talker. I'm very passionate, as you'll see in the vlog too. I love to share my life with people. I love to create and produce. I guess what I like to do for fun would be, besides my kids, I get most of my enjoyment from my kids and my family. I love to camp. I love to be outdoors and exploring. I love just the beautiful scenery here in Oregon. The West Coast is where my heart is. I love to just get outdoors as much as I can, because it doesn't happen much being a stay-at-home mom, and being pregnant consistently for the last 3 years has been really rough. That's one thing we're kind of working on as a family, is just getting out more, getting the kids out of the house more, which Drew and I were just talking about this when we just had Jacob and Braylon. They struggled with their disabilities and everything, and they were very hard to take out in public because Braylon had running issues for a while where he would just dart off, and so that was really scary. And Jacob would throw tantrums, like really bad meltdowns in public, so we just never went out. But it's funny because now that we have 4 kids, we go out way more than when we had 2 kids. So next I'll talk about my husband Drew. He's gonna turn 32 in January. So he was in the military for 8 years as a Marine. Now he's part-time in the Air Force and works for the county full-time. He probably won't be in the vlog a lot just because he does work a ton, which we are so grateful for that, because without that I would not be able to be here with my babies doing this vlog and documenting our life for you guys. But he is just getting used to the camera. He doesn't talk on Marco Polo every day like I do, so he's not as used to talking to a camera like I am. He will make appearances and be in the vlog obviously when we do our family stuff. It'll probably mostly be me running the vlog. So Drew and I met in March 2009. I was actually just getting out of a really unhealthy relationship when I met him. I was 19, almost 20. I didn't want to have another boyfriend for a while. I was telling all my friends after that relationship I was done, but then I went down to San Diego for a family reunion because that's where I'm from originally. My cousin, who I had actually lost touch with, you'll see her in the vlog too because we have become so close. I wanted to stay with her. She's the only one in my family that's really close in age with me. She was married already to a Marine. I stayed with her and her husband when I went down for the family reunion, and Drew was one of her husband's very good friends, and he always came over because he stayed in the barracks, so he would always come over to their house on the weekends just to get out. Her husband had left to go pick up a friend. I had already changed in my pajamas that night. Melissa and I, my cousin, we were showing each other our friends on MySpace, and she had showed me Drew's picture, and she was like, this is who my husband just went to go get. And he was really cute. I was like, this is coming over right now. So I went up and put my pants back on, I think my hair was up. I took my hair back down and re-straightened it back down real quick. So I met him that night. Whenever he tells the story, he actually made a book of how we met. I could show that at some point too. He always tells the story and kind of makes me sound like a dork, which I am a little bit, but we were all standing in the kitchen and nobody introduced him to me. We were just standing there, so I just blurted out, "Hi, I'm Melanie." He says it a little dorkier when he tells the story. That's where we met. I remember getting my cousin to try to get him to go to the movies or dinner with us before we left because we had the family reunion we needed to go to too, which was the whole reason why I was down there in the first place, not to meet my husband, which just so happened to come as a bonus. We went to the movies and we saw Knowing with Nicolas Cage, and then we went to Applebee's. Here's another funny moment. I was so nervous when we were at Applebee's. Drew had asked me to hand him the sugar for his sweet tea, and I grabbed the salt shaker and passed it to him, and I didn't even flinch, and everybody was just looking at me. I was really nervous because I thought he was so cute. When we hugged and said goodbye, when I was gonna go back to Oregon, he called me little girl. He was like, "Bye, little girl," or something, and gave me a hug, and he's 2.5 years older than me. So I was thinking, oh, okay, he thinks I'm a little girl. I don't have a chance. To my surprise, when I got home that night, he had added me on MySpace. We had messaged back and forth. I went back to Oregon and had told one of my girlfriends, who I was telling her before I left, that I'm done with guys, none of that. But I told her, I'm like, the only guy I would even consider giving a chance is this guy Drew that I just met, but I don't even think he likes me. Every day on MySpace we talked. We had our first phone call probably a week after that. It just took off from there. Like, we talked every night. My cousin was able to work it out that I could come move in with her. I was finishing up a semester at the community college where I was at, so I just needed to finish that up and then I could move down and be with them. So that's what I did. And when I moved down in May 2009, we hardly spent a day apart from each other. We ended up moving in with another military couple that July, and he ended up moving in there too and stayed there with us. So then we found out he was gonna deploy to Afghanistan in January 2010. Now this is where Jacob kind of comes into play. And we had talked about getting married before he would have to deploy, because as some of you other military wives might know, it is much easier to be married when they're deployed. You have a lot more rights to knowing what's going on while they're over there. We had talked about it a lot, about getting married, just going to the courthouse and doing it, not having like a big wedding or anything. Once we found out that he was leaving for sure, I kind of knew that he might propose to me, but I wasn't really sure. He ended up proposing to me in October. I guess he had the ring for a while, but he couldn't find the right time to propose. He took me to Applebee's actually one night. Was gonna do it there, but the waitress was like really involved with us, I guess he said, so he was nervous. He didn't want it to be like a big scene. He ended up actually proposing to me at the apartment. It caught me totally off guard. He had just got home from the base. I was turned around in a computer chair towards the desk and I was looking through a magazine, and we were getting ready to go to Big Lots. I remember just throwing the magazine on the table, and I was like, and I turned around saying like, "Are you ready?" or whatever, and he was just like in his little skivvy shirt with his boxers and just on his knee with this ring. It was totally shocking. But I loved it. I loved the shock factor. I love surprises. It was perfect. He proposed to me October 13th, 2009. We were married December 26th, 2009. So it was really fast. But luckily, my whole family is part of the wedding business. My mom took wedding design courses. She does a lot of design for events and everything for my dad. My dad owns a mobile DJ company in Southern Oregon. Shout out to Sights and Sounds Unlimited. If any of you guys are in Southern Oregon and need a DJ, he's amazing. My papa, he is a wedding photographer, which is another reason why I love photography. It's something that I really think is awesome, that I get to carry on kind of his legacy and what he does, because he's amazing. So when I called my family and told them that we were gonna just go to the courthouse and do like a celebration later, which is very common in military families, my mom was like, "Nope, we're gonna put something together." And it was amazing. All I had to do was pick out my dress and tell my mom my wedding colors, and they did the rest. It was awesome. Our wedding, we always talk about, it was just like one of the funnest days, nights ever. It was small, it was on the Oregon coast, since Drew is originally from Aberdeen, from Washington, and my family's in Southern Oregon. So we met on the coast of Oregon, kind of more up towards Washington. So it would be a drive for each of our families. We stayed in a massive beach house. We wish we could stay there next year for our 10-year anniversary, but it's really expensive to rent it out now. We might rent out a beach house close to there and celebrate and go see the house. After the wedding, we came home. One thing that made me fall in love with Drew when I first met him, I'll never forget it. We were watching How I Met Your Mother. We used to watch that all the time when he was in the barracks. But I just remember him talking to me about family, or if I wanted kids. And of course, I've always wanted a big family, because I grew up an only child until I was 12. And I'm very talkative, I'm very social. I've always wanted siblings close in age. I've always been jealous of my friends that had a lot of siblings in their house. Their houses always seemed so fun and alive. So I really wanted that for my family. But of course, this was probably only like 2 months into dating, and I don't want to scare this guy off. So I just said, no, I definitely want kids, but not for a long time. He said, I can't wait to have a family. And he was on board with having a big family. I was totally smitten at that point. I actually picked up an extra job when he was getting ready to leave. I wanted to stay busy while he was gone. And we were planning on getting into military housing when he came back, and kind of figuring out the whole marriage stuff in the military, because you get more benefits and all this other stuff. Then I think we were gonna try to start a family. I got off my birth control as soon as we got married, because I was told that I would need to be off for a while to get it all out of my system so we could start trying for a family when he got back. So there was literally only 1 month, January, that I could have gotten pregnant. So it was the night before he was leaving to Afghanistan. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings. We went to see Sherlock Holmes in the movie theater. I was just being a grouch the whole time. I could not figure out why I was so emotional. I thought it was just because he was leaving and I was stressed out. There's a small chance I could be pregnant. We went to the store, got a test, came home. Sure enough, I had 2 positive pregnancy tests. So we literally found out we were pregnant with Jacob, our first son, probably 7 or 8 hours before Drew got on a plane to go to Afghanistan, which was crazy. Honestly, I think God works in mysterious ways, and his way is the best way, even if we don't see it at that time. Deployment is very stressful. I think a lot of other military families can relate to infidelity when their partners are gone and all of that. I know happens a lot, but I think it was much easier for Drew knowing that I was pregnant, because I was about to turn 21 too, so who knows what could have happened if I wasn't pregnant, and if it would have caused more fights if I was going out or anything. So I honestly think that the timing was perfect for it. It made me kind of feel closer to him too when he was gone, because I still had a piece of him with me all the time. It wasn't too bad because we got to Skype. We Skyped pretty much every day, so he really got to go through my pregnancy with me still. And oh my gosh, the moment he came back, it worked out perfectly too, because it was a 7-month deployment. Had I got pregnant any sooner, he may have not been able to make it back for the birth. It was so perfect, and he didn't have to go through all my pregnancy hormones or anything. He came back at the end of August. Jacob was born October 4th, so he made it back in time for his birth. Literally the day he got off the plane, the next day we went to the birthing classes, and that was really funny too. Jacob was born October 4th, 2010, our first little baby. Made us a little family. Jacob was such a good baby. Oh my gosh, he was just the easiest. He was sleeping through the night, 3 months old. Well, so I moved into military housing when I was still pregnant. I had to do all of that while Drew was in Afghanistan. And we lived in a really cute house. I loved it there. And then we moved to Pensacola, Florida, where we were for almost 3 years. And we moved there when Jacob was 3 months old. The labor was really rough. He was almost 10 pounds at birth. It was painful. For a minute, thought he was gonna be the only child, actually, because the birth was so bad. All those other moms out there know, once you go through the labor and the baby's here, and once they start sleeping through the night and they're so adorable, you can't help but not want another one. They're so stinking cute. And he was literally the easiest baby. Even today, he's probably our easiest child still, because he entertains himself. He's very independent. He likes to kind of be on his own, and he's always been like that. I think he was 4 months when I really decided that I wanted to have another one, and I wanted to have another one close in age with him. I thought at that point Drew was gonna retire in the Marine Corps. You know, every time we moved, I didn't want him to have to be the new kid at school by himself. I really wanted their birthdays to fall to where they'd only be a grade apart in school, which Jacob and Braylon are only a grade apart in school, and I love it. I'm so glad that we did that. Even though we got out of the military, I'm so glad we did that because they love having each other at school. We had no idea that they were gonna struggle with delays and disabilities and stuff. It makes me even happier to know that they have each other at school as a friend. We started trying for Braylon in February, but it took me a while to get pregnant. I couldn't get pregnant until July, and then he was due March. He came March 12th, 2012. Braylon was a different kind of baby. He has always been our hard one. He's always been kind of just everywhere. He was not sleeping through the night as easy as Jacob. I don't know what it is about that second kid, but I've heard that a lot. Like the first kid is always easy, and then it teases you and you're like, okay, I got this, I can do two. Well, I like to think I mastered the 2 under 2 with them. I think we started to notice that Jacob had speech delays like once Braylon was about to be born, but we didn't know that he was on the spectrum or anything like that at that point. Jacob and Braylon are 18 months apart. They are so close. They have always been so close as brothers. I remember people like hoping that we would have a girl. I really thought Braylon was a girl too because my pregnancies were completely different, but I was so happy. I had always told Drew, I'm like, I want 4 kids and I just hope one of them's a boy. I'm a football fan. I've always kind of been a tomboy and I always wanted at least one boy, but I always thought I was gonna get all girls because I gave my mom a really hard time growing up. I was just shocked when I found out that Braylon was a boy because it was such a different pregnancy and such, you know, all of that, but I don't believe in all those wives' tales anymore. And I was smart with Jackson, my 3rd son. I knew he was a boy from the get-go. I love the brother bond. It's just adorable. And Jackson and Benny are starting to get that too, my little boys. What else can I say about Jacob and Braylon? Let me start with Jacob. So he just turned 8 in October. We took him to Disneyland, which I have a vlog of that. It's gonna be a really cool vlog. I can't wait to edit that one and put that one together. We did so much on that trip. And we just took the older boys. We just took Jacob and Braylon. My mom was so nice to stay here with the little boys. It was a blast. So he's 8 years old. He's in the 2nd grade. Right now he goes into the regular classroom in 2nd grade too. He's progressed enough. He still struggles with his speech. He's always had speech issues and being able to understand him. He talks really quiet, but he does know what you're talking about and he's so smart. He is so good with math. Oh my gosh, it is crazy how good at math he is. And now this year he is in the regular 2nd grade class until lunchtime, until after lunch, which is I think about like 12:30. Then he goes into the bridge room, which is a special education room, for the rest of the day. So it's a huge step up. We're super excited for him and we think he might even transition fully next year. You guys will follow us on that journey. Jacob is the sweetest. I just love him. Definitely a mama's boy. The rest of the boys, they all kind of drift more towards Drew. They love me and I have a special bond with each of them, but I feel like they're definitely daddy's boys. Like when he gets home from work, they're all about Drew. They're sick of me. It's adorable. And he is the best big brother. He loves babies. Struggles with the toddler stage. He gets a little bit annoyed with Jackson right now, but oh my gosh, he loves Benny. He is so excited for me to have this next baby. I'm actually thinking about letting him be in the room too if he's awake when I give birth to her, just because he has been so interested. And you'll see in the vlog too, I've recorded, he's come with me to multiple ultrasounds and asks me what week it is and how big the baby is. He's just more aware and he's just so excited, which is so cute. I love it. Braylon, he is our wild child. He's mellowed out a lot recently, which is nice, and the running issue has gone away, but he has ran from the house a couple of times. He's gotten by us and he is so fast. His brain, the way his brain works is just so fast. He's taught himself to read. He's just like a little Einstein genius boy. He's got his own thing of what he's doing all the time, which is kind of why I think he ran a lot, was because we just never knew, because he didn't communicate with us what he was thinking, but he would just do it. Whatever he had in mind, he would just go and do it. There was no thinking behind it. It was just go, go, go. Like I said, that's gotten a lot better. We haven't had an incident in almost 2 years now. Fingers crossed that that is behind us. us. He is starting to communicate a lot better with us too. He's starting to kind of take on the big brother role a lot better, which is really cute. He does help with Jackson sometimes, or tries to help. Braylon is also very musical. He's always been very into letters. Like I said, he taught himself to read. He's just so sweet too. I just love Braylon. He is a character. He is a true character. And he loves YouTube also. He is a big YouTube fan. I'm sure he's gonna be so excited to know that we have a channel too, because he actually created his own channel before we even knew about it. He had his own channel and was making movies, which I like to think he gets that from me, his like creative producing side. After I became a stay-at-home mom, we decided to have another baby. We started trying for Jax too. It took me a while to get pregnant with him as well. It's funny, my first pregnancy and now this is gonna be my last pregnancy were both unexpected. I don't wanna say unplanned or anything, because Jacob, we were definitely gonna have kids. And with this last baby, we really thought we were done having kids. And we got a surprise and an even bigger shock that it was a girl. Jackson took about 6 months to get pregnant with him. And I was very impatient. I wanted to get pregnant right away because it had been a while. Braylon was 4 when Jackson was born, but it had been a while and I love babies. I'm so baby crazy. That's something else that I could say about myself. I am totally baby crazy. I love the baby stage. It is just magical. Found out I was pregnant with him in September 2015. We were just so excited. We did like a cute little announcement. I had a heck of a time in his pregnancy. I was very sick with him too. Going to the OB that I was going to, I had a couple really bad experiences. And so I had asked one of my friends who she was seeing as her doctor, and she was seeing a midwife. She highly recommended her, and my friend worked in the ER as an ER nurse. And I looked her up online and there's just so many things, so many people saying awesome stuff about her. She had a birthing center, so she did birthing center births and home births. And I had never really thought about doing a home birth. So I had looked into it, and that's actually when I started getting into YouTube, which I said in the other video. I was looking up home birth. I stumbled across, you know, the Jess Fam channel, which she did a home birth with her 3rd pregnancy as well. I thought it was awesome, and so I met with her, and I got away from the horrible place I was at before. Was treated so much better. It was such a wonderful experience with her. I did have a home birth with him. It was a little crazy though. I actually gave birth, we delivered him ourselves in the boys' bathtub. We had this nice big birthing tub all ready to go, and he came out so fast that I just had to deliver him in the little boy's bathtub because we didn't have enough time to get everything set up. He came so fast. My midwife came about 10 minutes after he was born. She couldn't believe it herself. I was the first home birth she had ever missed. But that's kind of how Jackson is. He's our wild card too. Him and Braylon are kind of our outgoing, rambunctious boys, although Braylon has mellowed down. Oh, and I don't think I said Braylon turns 7 in March. Jackson's 2, so he is going through the terrible 2s right now. He is our first kid who is not on the spectrum. It just is amazing to me how much he talks, how well he talks, his questions he asks. He definitely reminds me of me as a kid. I would never shut up as a kid. That is totally how he is. I love it. It's just something that I think Drew and I appreciate more too. Had we not had kids that went through speech delays and all those issues, I don't think we would have appreciated it as much. I can actually remember a lot of my friends when I told them, because whenever we'd go out with them or their kids would be socializing with them, I didn't want them to think that our kids were being rude by not talking to their kids. And so I'd always kind of have to explain, like, they have speech delays, they're on the spectrum, they just don't know how to talk or how to express. I had one friend tell me like, oh, you're so lucky, like my kids don't ever shut up, and which I get it. Now I have Jackson and I get it. Like it can be a lot when they're constantly talking and talking to you. I think Drew and I just appreciate it more because of what we went through with Jacob and Braylon. So it's really neat, it's really fun to kind of see that and see him just blossom so easily. It's really cool. He is a handful, and you will definitely see that in the vlog. He's definitely gonna be probably the life of the vlog. He is so cute though, thank God. So that's Jackson. So after Jackson was born, I knew for sure that I wanted to give him a sibling close in age, just like Jacob and Braylon were, because I just love that dynamic. If Jackson were to have been a girl, I may have just been done. I may have just been like, okay, well, girls, they like to be the center of attention, they're more independent, and I I probably would have been fine with that. Like Jacob and Braylon have each other and then we could have had a girl. So it's funny because if Jackson wasn't a boy, I don't think Benny would have been here. It's just kind of crazy like how that all worked out. Benny took the longest to conceive actually. He was very hard to get pregnant with. We were trying for about 8 months with him. People wouldn't normally think that I would struggle getting pregnant just because we have so many kids. Jacob was the only one before this baby that just happened so easily for us. Braylon, Jackson, and Benny were all tried for. I'll probably talk about that a little bit in the vlog too, because I know trying to conceive is another topic that is near and dear to other people and that I can relate to, and things that I've actually learned. Especially with Benny, I had to research a lot of different things that help. So Benny, we finally got pregnant with him March 2017. I was just so ready to get him here and have our family be complete. It was just so magical. We had another home birth with him. Oh, so here's another thing about our family. So our boys, their birthdays. Jacob is 10-4-10, so the 10s match. Braylon is 3-12-12, so the 12s match. Jackson is 5-16-16, so the 16s match. So I was really hoping that Benny would come on 11-11. I ended up going into labor on 11-11 at like 7 o'clock at night, but he was born on the 12th at 12:46, 12:41, 12:46. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look now. So he was the one to kind of break the cycle, which is good because now I don't feel the pressure to have the matching date with this baby. If I do have her on March 19th, which would be March 1919, that actually is my great grandmother's birthday, and she was born March 1919, but 100 years ago. So that would be pretty cool to have her on that day. I'm not holding my breath. I feel a little bit better. I feel like Benny was just supposed to break that. Although Benny and Braylon were both born on the 12th, and they're our B-boys. We have our J-boys and our B-boys. So I kind of like that too. Our B-boys were both born on the 12th. He was a really easy baby too. Jackson was a pretty easy baby as well. Braylon was the only one that was kind of a bit rough for us. After I gave birth to Benny, like I said in my last video, there was a lot of complications going on with my body and then him getting sick. That's another reason what led me to YouTube, was me being bedridden for so many months. It all happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer. I love our little family and the way we are. I was so content and happy with our 4 boys and the dynamics that they had with each other. God had other plans, and now we're having a baby girl and we are so excited. The next vlog I make is going to be just dedicated to her. This pregnancy, I'm gonna take you through me finding out. I actually have footage of that. I'm gonna take you through me finding out that I'm pregnant, me telling Drew that I'm pregnant, us telling our families that we're pregnant. I have all that footage and I just kind of want to get it out of the way. I've already done a name reveal video that I've shared with all of our friends. All our friends and family right now already know her name, but I want to kind of take you guys through our journey here. So I'm gonna leave that for the next video, but once it's all out in the open, then I can start sharing all the other vlogs. And this will be my last sit down vlog for a while. I may have some sit down pieces in the next vlog, better explaining, but a lot of the footage that I'm gonna show in the next vlog of my current pregnancy are going to be footage of us out and about in life. That is how our family channel is gonna be most of the time too, because it's late right now, the kids are in bed. I don't always have time to sit down and have the time to do this. So it's easier for me to vlog and document our life as we're living it. I hope this helped you guys just get a feel for our family a little bit. Benny just turned 1. I guess I didn't really finish talking about him, but he just had his first birthday. He's almost learning to walk, so we'll have that documented. He's starting to talk so much more too. From what we can tell, we don't think he is on the spectrum either. I'm really excited to watch that bond between him and Jackson and what that looks like. They're just so great. They're so cute. You guys will just love them. All the boys are so lovable and so adorable. And I know I'm biased, but I truly do think that. Drew reminded me also that I should mention we have pets. We have 2 cats and a snake. We've had Jake the snake since Drew and I have been dating from July 2009. So he is 9.5 years old. And then we have 2 cats, Callie and Bear. They are a big part of our family too. The boys love them, and I'm sure you'll see them in the vlogs as well. I guess that's it. That's our family. This was probably extremely long. I hope I was able to edit it down. But like I said, I talk a lot. I have a lot to say about our family. You'll learn more as we go along. Stay tuned for the next vlog. If you like this vlog, like, subscribe. We'll see you in our next video. Good night.